Hello New fans, we are still in a little bit of a holding pattern, but things will pick up next week, so we'll stick to the more condensed format for this show for now. As always, we have some interesting indies with cool art styles in this edition of Indie Gaming this week. Japanese publisher Kemco and developer Radeon Inc. have been pumping out quite a number of JRPG titles, which have been made with mobile in mind, but among the whole lot are a number of great titles, case in point being Blacksmith of the Sand Kingdom. It's a party-based RPG where you play as the son of a blacksmith and want to become the best blacksmith in the land. As mentioned before, I do love shopkeeping elements in games where this mixes overworld exploration and resource gathering, crafting, combat, and even a job class system into quite a nice package. Me being me, I do love the sprites of the characters and enemies, so despite this being a mobile port, I do have an interest in this. Probably pronouncing this wrong, but Yeminj is an arena action arcade high score chase where you run around and defeat as many enemies as possible, with a good look and seems like a cool, smaller game. The thing about Critters for Sale Snake has to be the 1-bit art style and animations, looking also striking and very impressive. It's a collection of 5 point-and-click, visual novel or choose-your-own adventure style titles, looking very weird and trippy, but that's the selling point. Well, I say selling point, but this title is supposed to be free to play, so perhaps check it out. As a fan of classic turn-based roguelikes, To Die looks pretty interesting, with the name being a clever play on words, since the main combat mechanic involves rolling 2 dice, and of course, there's the permadeath implications as well. It looks fairly well made with a number of RPG systems and stats, classic grid-based exploration, and some cool sprites as well. There are 3 classes to play as, 26 maps and 42 upgrades, so it should be a neat little experience, although I'm curious as to the meta progression if any, or if there's some sort of story. Wetware is an adventure game that is about AI ethics and consciousness, about the ethics of hacking into enemy drones to win a war. It is most notable for its use of an almost claymation, stop-motion style look. While I'm not the biggest fan of this art style, really not liking Wallace and Gromit when I was younger, I do have an appreciation for the craft that goes into making something look like this, so it gets props for that. Supposed to be a free title as well, so certainly check it out. Werewolf the Apocalypse Heart of the Forest is a visual novel RPG set in the World of Darkness tabletop franchise, where you play as a young woman returning home to Central Europe to trace her roots. There are RPG mechanics that will affect the range of choices that you can make, with some great writing and awesome art. This released on Steam in October last year and is coming to Switch, so pick it up there if that's your platform of choice. For 2021, I want to make this channel bigger and better than ever before, but to do that, I will need your help. Please take a couple of minutes to fill out the survey form linked below. Thank you for the help, and back to the video. Now, Press Any Button looks like an interesting, subversive meta title, so I am curious about this, although it does use some crudely drawn assets which may turn you off. The base game involves preventing blocks from falling to the bottom of the screen by placing a platform under them, but there appears to be a variety of such objects with different properties. Very interesting vibe and another free entry to check out. Iris.Fall is one of the most visually stunning puzzle games from the last couple of years, using the puzzle game trope of light and shadow, but does have some neat ideas. I enjoyed this back at launch on Steam, and it makes its way to Switch this week. One of the most interesting games of the week is Luck Be a Landlord, a roguelike slots simulator where you're trying to earn rent money and to defeat capitalism. There are deck building aspects where you choose which symbols to add to the machine, all, ironically, wrapped up using a slot machine, which is perhaps a commentary on our modern society. If you love retro action platformers, Street Cleaner the video game will be the highlight of the week. An 8-bit excellent title based on a musician of the same name, fight your way through the streets of San Diego in search of justice, taking out criminal scum along the way. Love the look of this, very faithful to games of the past, and I do still think that it's very cool that we can get such retro titles in 2020 on PC of all places. It has been delayed a couple of times, so I'm not sure if it'll make it to launch, but if it does, certainly a title of interest. I talked about my love of Command & Conquer Red Alert in covering the CNC Remastered collection, so to see the CNC generals like Iron Conflict pop up when browsing new releases was a nice surprise. It's an RTS title that has both the option for modern as well as World War II era units, all wrapped up with an interesting structure. There are no base building elements, where you instead choose 3 squads of units, participating in 3v3, 5v5 or 10v10 battles, all taking place on handcrafted battlefields, which looks interesting. Not sure how much of a player population this would have, but a curiosity for sure. Ralph's Adventure Aztec Mystery is an action-adventure title that self-describes as inspired by home console games from the 80s and 90s, but with modern design sensibilities. But since it is 8-bit excellent, I am curious about this. It looks very much like your classic Zelda fare with puzzles, combat, and strangely enough, platforming, where you play as a young boy who needs to delve into an ancient temple to save his mother. There appears to be quite the amount of content, where the store page states 8 temples, 8 guardians, and 8 golden idols to unlock the final boss, so very classic in setup, with a nice use of modern tools as weapons like a baseball bat or a yo-yo. Love this genre and this looks well made, taking the #1 spot. To see more of the big picture, check out these awesome videos and I will see you after the jump.